Hello. On behalf of the Levett Career Center at Hanover College, welcome. I'm Margaret Krantz, and today I'm going to be talking about building your LinkedIn profile. Now, if you have been in the job search mode for a while, you've probably already formed an impression of LinkedIn, and you may not find its job board all that valuable, and honestly, I would agree. I think LinkedIn is an excellent tool for people who are preparing to do their job search because it is a great way for you to research employers and find out what kinds of qualities they're looking for, and to find connections who might be able to help you along the way in your job search. So it's great for you. And I can basically guarantee you that employers are going to research you on LinkedIn. So it's important for you to have a profile because that's a thing that they are going to be looking for. Fortunately, because LinkedIn is trying to have a very professional image, they help people who are new to it to build effective profiles. So what they do is walk you through step by step. Once you've created an account, they will lead you to have as strong a profile as possible. I suggest that you follow their advice. So this screen shows you some of the different categories that you're able to include in your profile. It's not meant to be something that you fill in every category for. If something doesn't apply to you, then ignore it. The background section is expanded here so that you can see some of the things that you can include under your background. And to the right, I have expanded the accomplishments section so that you can see additional types of background and proof of your work, examples of your prior publications or honors or courses that might be relevant. I think one of the most helpful things that you can do as you're doing your research is to look up the past examples of good models for your LinkedIn profile. So find a search string that is appropriate for your interests, include Hanover College and the area that you're looking to break into. And in my case, I tend to like to do a search of people who have been out graduated a couple of years ago, because they have a little bit more time to under their belt to polish their profile and show growth in their career if they take the time to update their profile. If you look for people who have been out longer, usually their background is less generalizable to you, so less useful to you as a model. I've got a few examples here that I'm going to be showing you of some of the important factors that you should include in your LinkedIn profile and how some of our recent graduates have handled those sections. So Alex includes a headline, that's what this is called. It includes his job title and employer, and he has also chosen a professional image that works appropriately for the insurance industry. He looks like he took time with that image. You also see here a summary of his background, and it's the About section, and it is keyword rich, which is something I'm probably going to say more than once in this presentation. It's a good way for somebody who's searching for specific keywords to be able to find Alex. His profile is written with a professional audience in mind. He isn't looking for a job, he has a job. He's looking for potential clients or customers. And so his profile is written with that kind of a focus. Likewise, Daniel has his job title and employer, and again, a friendly professional image that he's projecting. And he's chosen to include a banner of the logo of his employer behind his photographs. So that adds some additional visual interest, and it shows that he's taken a little extra step. You can also see his profile About section, and that gives you an idea of what he some of the key points that he wants to make to a person who is trying to look him up and learn more about him. A third example is from someone who is working, JC is working as a residence director at a university, And so she's got a slightly different type of approach that she's taking because her audience is college students. So she has a more casual photograph. It includes her wearing a shirt that has the logo of her university on it. And again, in the About section here, her summary, it is conversational and inviting if she's trying to encourage people from her university to come and chat with her. I'm here for coffee and conversations that matter. That is a very inviting statement and very appropriate for this particular audience. So as you're choosing your the way that you want to handle each of those choices, it's a good idea for you to look at similar people so that you can see how they've done it, and then decide for yourself what works for you and what doesn't. I think the wealth of examples that are available on LinkedIn are such a help when people are developing their own profile. Now, let's say that you haven't graduated yet. These are headlines that current students at Hanover have uh, used, and they're aspirational: seeking career in health and wellness field, seeking a job in finance, graduate seeking a career in sales. Those are ways that future employers who are looking for candidates would be able to encounter you and see what your interests are. Once you've got those three sections under your belt, and those are really not optional sections, then you need to populate your experience section. And this functions basically as a resume. And sometimes what people do is to actually copy and paste items from their resume into this section. And so you can see again that this is keyword rich, and it can be adapted so that you can if you change career direction or if you clarify what you want to do, you can adapt it so that it is appropriate for your interests. You should always bear in mind that your audience at this stage is your potential future employer, so you need to say things that would be meaningful to them. In this particular example, this person has decided to really give some good value to her volunteer experience section. And so she's specified the different aspects of what she's actually done in her volunteer work. And it's strong stuff. She has really good keywords, and she's put quantities in it, which is always eye-catching: 50 women ages 12 to 18, 3 hours per week. Anything like that is going to draw someone's eye and give some substance to the description that you're providing. When you're done with your experience section, you're going to want to flesh out your education section, and you'll be prompted to say some information. In this person's case, she has already graduated, and she graduated with honors. So for the rest of her life, when she writes her degree, it's actually officially Bachelor of Arts cum laude. And if you're lucky enough to be someone who graduates with honors, that will be true for you as well. So make sure that you update both your LinkedIn profile and your resume accordingly. She has listed not only her classes, but she has also put some of her leadership and memberships so that she can show that she was an active person on campus while she was here. Another way to handle education is, instead of putting those things that were mentioned in the previous slide under education, if they merit it, if they're related to what you want to do, you might want to take some of the activities you've done at Hanover and actually put them in your experience section. And this is an example of that. This profile comes from Malik, who is a graphic designer. And while he was at Hanover, he acted as a graphic designer, including actually providing the design that was the cover of our college catalog one year. And he has mentioned that here in his Hanover College entry into his experience section. And he has another thing he's done to add value to this that I really like and want to point out to you. He's got images of his different designs that he's done. So if a potential client is looking to see what kind of work he might do for them, he has examples, and not only in the ones that I've excerpted here, but every single job he has had has some designs that he's done. So that adds a lot of richness to his profile. Once you've got that underway, you need to make your skills section, or at least consider having one. I've noticed over the years that LinkedIn is continually evolving, and one section that has sort of had different levels of value is the skills section, but if you can use them well, they might work to your advantage. So the way to use them well is first to figure out what skills are valid or valuable in the field that you want to go into. This is a screenshot that came from ONET. Later on in the presentation, I'll provide you with the URL so that you can go and do research for the field you're interested in. ONET helps you to see what kinds of things employers might really be seeking. This happens to be a screenshot from a search that I did for marketing management. And so you can see what they say would be valuable in that field. I've circled things that I think a Hanover student might have background in. And so if you were doing this search, you would go through the list, see what you're particularly strong in, and then anything on the list that you are strong in, you would add to your skills section. Then when someone connects with you, they will be asked whether they would like to endorse you for that particular skill. And over time, you can start to develop a lot of endorsements for things that you care about. That in turn makes you easier to be found in a search by an employer. There are other sections that you can add a little value to your profile through. You can mention your interests by following someone. If you follow an organization, a company, a cause, that will appear in your interests section. I have this chosen because I want you to know that if someone is looking at your profile, if you haven't hidden a section, people will see it. So do be aware that that is a part of the image that you are projecting. You can also join groups on LinkedIn. This used to be a very strong section of LinkedIn, and they backed off from that. But there is a Hanover Career Alumni Network is a group that you can join. As you can see here, it has over 1,200 active participants who are professionals who want to help you with your search. So if you go there, you can see what their background is, what professions they're in, what geographical location they're in. They might be a help to you. So I would recommend that you check out Hanover Career Alumni Network through the groups on LinkedIn. If you join the group, it will appear in your profile. You also have the opportunity to highlight your accomplishments in LinkedIn, as I mentioned earlier on the slide that showed you how to build your profile. This is our graphic designer's accomplishment page, and it includes projects that he's accomplished, publications that he has been responsible for, and an honor. So you can choose to mention any accomplishments that you have. If you are an editor for Hanover Historical Review, you can include that. If you've gotten something published in Kennings, that can go on there, or a major research paper that you've had. I'll have another example of how you can include your coursework in this section in a couple of more slides. Okay, so once you've done your building of your profile, it's really important that you proofread it carefully. This is the first example of your work that an employer might encounter. And just as your resume needs to be flawless, this needs to be flawless. I mentioned earlier that it's a good idea for you to follow LinkedIn's advice. It prompts me to see if there are any things that I want to add to my profile even now. And I've got 2,000 people that I'm connected with. But I don't always follow the advice. While I do pay attention to it, you get to use your judgment, but still pay attention to what it suggests because it might add some value to your profile. One thing that it seems that LinkedIn has never made possible is for you to use bullets. And so if that's true today when you're watching this video, then a way for you to do it is to if you're using a Mac, to use option 8, which will produce a bullet in the middle of words at the end of a sentence, wherever you want it. And for Windows, Alt 0149. So this video is worth watching just for that tip. Now, I want to touch on or review a lot of the things that I've told you about by looking at this profile. I think it's a really nice example of a lot of the things that I've thought were successful, important to do well when you're developing your profile. Trixia is a software developer at Del Mar Software Development, and so those are current things that she's doing. She already is settled. She's not looking for a job because that software industry is not a particularly conservative one. She has chosen a professional image that is friendly, but is not sort of really formal in a business attire. She looks like she belongs in this field, but she is professional and she's taken thought in her photograph choice. She has not chosen to change her banner, but honestly, I think in the software development area, this default banner actually kind of works. It looks a bit like a network, so I'm going to give her a pass on that. If you look down at her About section, her summary, it is keyword rich and gives a quick idea of what her background is and what her qualifications are. And to add some value, she has her resume uploaded. If we move on down to her experience section, she mentions related jobs and activities that she has had. She has included her Hanover College experience because that is specifically related. So she's got it under experience. That's a choice that she made that I think was a wise one. And in each case, you can see that she is using language that a potential customer or a potential hirer would find relevant. She's got her education on here, and she has mentioned her computer science degree, but she's also mentioned a lot of leadership activities she's had. She's Secretary of Student Senate, President, Vice President, Secretary, Student Senate Rep, and all of those things show sort of make a good case for her having that leadership experience. That might lead to a promotion, for example, within her own employment setting. And she's rounded that out with leadership under her skills and endorsements. She's chosen some skills that are appropriate for her field. And so as she connects with people, she'll find that she'll start getting endorsed. People will start approving or agreeing that she has those skills. Under her accomplishment section, she includes her coursework that she has had in computer science. She also, interestingly, includes courses from her international studies minor, which makes her sound a little bit more interesting and well-rounded. It's not just purely computer science things. It shows that she might be good to get into a conversation with at work, which is something that employers actually really like. So first of all, good job, Trixie. I thought that was wonderful. If you're trying to learn more about where you might be able to get some idea of what employers are looking for, I mentioned earlier that I think ONET is a really great place for you to get some keywords that you can then incorporate into your profile. And so the URL for that is onetonline.org. It looks like a one-ton line, but it's onetonline.org. If you type in whatever search string you're interested in, it will provide you information that will help you to make your specific, well, every single section in your LinkedIn profile appropriate, but I used it earlier to illustrate the skills section. Additional resources, LinkedIn provides short videos, way shorter than the one that you're listening to right now. If you go to university.linkedin.com/LinkedIn-for-students, you can see these short videos to help answer some of the questions that may arise as you're doing your developing your profile. You can also find some information through careercenter.hanover.edu/students/job services. And this gives you more information about LinkedIn than I have provided today about building a profile. So I would recommend that you go to that site as well. So in summary, I wanted to thank you for listening to this presentation and uh, wish you luck with your search. And most of all, I want to encourage you to stay well. Thank you very much.